Okay, we're back with the Beholder series for making Xanathar the Beholder. I have a little hive of beholders here that we left off last time, and we're using the Elder Caves pack that I showed you from the Fab store. Has a good lighting and environment, and it got the dust motes and everything in there, so it's a great underground, underdark type place, and it's got some treasure chests. So next step for this is to put our own texture on there. So we did it quickly with the rapid prototyping um, from earlier, where I just did a quick and dirty paint job on there. But what we're looking at now is we're looking at going from just maybe some solid colors. This is the kind of messed up one, right? And if you um, look at the triangulation on here, you can see it's quite messy. It's at 600,000 triangles. The retopologized ones, 615,000, and I was able to UV map it. Whereas the sculpted one is at 630,000, so just 20,000 different. But it's a spider web of a mess. The eye looks better. There's some things about it that didn't transfer over to the retopo. And also the resymmetry, it did a pretty good job with the eyes. It left the eye stalks asymmetrical, but it did make the tongue symmetrical. But I'll take it because I got like a nice simple seam, and I can always reposition that tongue to have it more of a gesture and not be quite so symmetrical, right? And asymmetry is kind of a thing you want to be aware of. So in UV mapping this, I went into the the other video, and I went in and I applied UV map, and I did a seam cut right down the back side, so you can see the seam right there. So just like any other head, you want the seam to be around the back of the skull, up to usually about the hairline. Not that our beholders have hair. Oh, that's a super creepy idea, though. Maybe they should have. Oh my God, this is gonna look horrible, but I gotta try it. But yeah, doing some hair on there. So after I UV mapped it, you have to make sure you grab everything. Of course, you have to grab the object and do a UV snapshot. This is right here, image UV snapshot. Um, I usually do 2048 by 2048. This is just one big UV map. I'm not using UDIMs to do the 0 to 1 space, 0 to 1 space. You can go to the 0 to 2, um, 2 to 0, and then 2 to 2 space. You can expand off there. But for now, we've already covered that. So let's just hop straight over here. And I can take some of this paint job and let's do a quick texture paint job on this character. Because I think selling this as Xanathar really is using this color palette, right? It's pretty much established, like even with the Universal Studios version, the more kid-friendly Hanson puppet of Xanathar uses the same color palette. And so we're driving home the design differences here in having the more kid-friendly, I think, WizKids animatronic puppet version of Xanathar in the newer 5th edition book, and the original, I believe it was 2nd edition, maybe it was 1st, I don't know. Yes, it must be 2nd edition. Waterdeep cover, I think it was Jeff Easley. I had to look that one up. But we're kind of bridging the difference between the two with our design, right? I think it's going a little more true to the original, of course. But I think the way this one has the expression on the brow, we incorporated the eye to be a bit more expressive, but we kept the chitinous version of the mouth and some of the scales on there. So I'm going to go back to the original one that we did the speed paint on in SculptGL, and I can load this back into SculptGL and do it, but I'm just going to take this. I'm going to show you how to do this quickly. I'm just going to take the color we started. We're going to do a bleed layer on here. We're going to take the UV map and we're going to invert it. And I think we're going to paint a much better eye on the eye. And then we're going to, we have a tongue and some other parts now, right? So we wanted to make sure that this version of Xanathar, which currently just has some tileable textures that I grabbed from free packs, and we want to put our Xanathar stamp on this, right? With the glowing eyes and everything. So as cool as these look, it's not Xanathar yet. This is a hive of other beholders with some cool crustacean like coral from the coral pack materials on there. All right, so let's hop over to Photoshop and spend a little bit of time in there. So first thing I'll do in Photoshop here is take this black and white and I'm going to duplicate it, Control J, and then Control I, I'm going to invert it so the white and black are inverted. Um, I then set that to multiply layer, and I'm going to lower the opacity down a bit, and let's do a fill layer in the middle. So I'm going to go Control Shift N, and we'll go color fill. There we go. And let's just grab this blue purple color, so the original paint that I had slapped on there. And while I'm at it, let's get back to, there we go. So we want to bring these two together, right? So I go to my brush tool and hold down the Alt key to switch over to the eyedropper. I can go right over here to this blue color, blue purple, right about there. And yeah, it's a little more in the blue than the blue purple. It works out okay. And go to the color fill here and control, or excuse me, Alt Delete will fill with the foreground color. All right, so that's our fill layer. And so anything we put on top of that is going to hopefully be lighter. We might do some darker stuff in there. But that gives us a good foundation. Now, this may be hard to see everything in there with that color fill being at that color. So I'm going to do Control J and then Control U to do the hue, saturation, lightness. And let's brighten it up a bit, just for now, just so we could see. And then Control Shift N, do another layer. And we're going to do paint pass 01. There we go. And I want to just identify what we have here. So we have the tongue, we have the eye stalks, we have each of the individual eyes down here, which is really quick UV unwrap. But I know for when I UV mapped them that this general section right here is the center. So we might do some like soft orange gradients on there. We definitely have the gums in there inside the mouth here. We're going to paint the gums. We're going to paint the eyelids a little bit different color, which we started to do in here. The color around the mouth is the same in both of these. This is actually a little more pink. I take that back. This one's a little more yellowish color. So we'll see what we want to do with that. Well, there's pink in the gum inside, just not the lip up here, where he has more humanist-esque pinkish lips over here, but the same color gum. So yeah, we're just gonna, and we could do a variety. We could try just quick airbrush on there. There's a little color discs right here. We could see kind of where the edges are right there. And then we could go in like we did here and we could lightly airbrush the tops of these to give them some dimensionality. And the big part of the eyeball, we have this part here. And I'm actually forgetting if that is the front of the big eyeball or is this one. So I have to remember which way I did that. I'm forgetting. This is the, doing your islands and knowing where your stuff is in the airbrush. That's part of the process here. So let's go. I can go in here and grab some of these colors. And if I wanted to, even I could just go to this image here and we could do Magic Wand, Control Shift I, invert the selection, copy, bring it over here, and we could just paste that right down like that. And I don't have any good notion yet how much different the position of the scales is going to be, but it might get us halfway there. So let's take a look here. Yeah, and with the UVs, I'm not used to having UVs that dense. I usually do more game ready mesh, so this is again really fast. But if I grab this and we bring it down right here, go, and then go to warp, and we can warp the colors up here and then bring them down here. And it kind of gets us a little bit there, maybe not anything too spectacular, but maybe, just maybe. Oh, I'll hit enter and zoom back out. And yeah, it gives me something to build on, I think. We have the eye stalks here. I believe the where I cut the UVs on there, we can just hop over to Maya and double check. Most of the cuts are on the backs of the eye stalks. I try to do that rather quickly, and you'll see they're kind of zigzaggy. Again, they're not retopoed, they're not perfect. Did I get that one? I did the, yeah. So Good to know the tops would be maybe a bit lighter, whereas underneath might be a little bit darker. So we can cut down, we can paint down the middle of those a little bit darker. So what I'm going to do here is full screen this one, and we'll start off painting the, that was strange. Okay. We'll start off with painting to match the UV scales on there. Yeah, that's not going to be very helpful. Bother. Oh well. So let's do the islands then that I know are different colors. So let's do the tongue, for instance. So I'm going to go in here and we're going to zoom into where the tongue UV island is, and I'll use my polygonal lasso. There we go. And I'm just gonna make an island. The shells, as they're called, is the individual pieces of UVs that are all contiguous with the outer border. When I get to the end there, hit enter, and zoom out for a minute and bring up our reference. Does he have a tongue color? Can't quite see. I'll go to my dry dropper, Alt, grab that tongue color right off there. And whoops, this one got full screen. And once I have that selection made in on the main color map here, I'll go Control Shift N and we'll go tongue and Alt Delete and fill with that new color picked color. And we'll go back and we'll paint lightly underneath and on the top in just a moment. Control D, deselect. We'll go down here to our eyeballs and we can see that. Control Shift N, we'll go eyes, no, small eyes. It doesn't hurt to have a few layers. Even though I'm going really fast, it's not that big of a deal. Whoops, hit escape out of there. Let me zoom in a bit, and we'll go and we'll get that color. Pick that color right there. So I'm going to go to my. I like to go brush and then Alt to pick, as opposed to just going eyedrop. I don't know. It's just an old habit of mine. There we go. So now I have all these eye stalks here. I'm going outside the frame of the image just to be safe. Always do what's called a bleed pixels. You want to bleed at least a couple pixels around the edge of the color you want. Alt delete, fill with that red orange color, and then we'll go over here and find the other ones and try not to touch the UV seam. Try to give it a little bit of the bleed layer border extra. Kind of like when you're doing print. There we go, Alt delete, and I got two more here. Go, Alt delete, and zoom back out. Well, there we go. And if we want to play around with this, I can go up here to my color swatch and we can adjust if we did indeed want that to have a little bit more of a rich, vibrant color to it. I can pick it there, control click on the thumbnail on the layers, and that will automatically select what's on there, and then Alt delete again. There we go. So I want that little fiery glow going on in the middle there. What I also wanted to try doing for this one is doing a little bit of a gradient. So I'm going to go to my airbrush and we'll go to my brush settings here, grab a soft airbrush, double check what my airbrush settings are. There we go. And looking at that, that looks pretty good. We'll go over there and I want to get like a brighter orange, yellow, red orange there. There it is there. Let's go a little more on the yellowy and let's go really bright up here and see what happens. I'm going to be careful, by the way, when you do the UV layout like this. It's really easy to accidentally paint on it. So what I'll do is I have it on multiply. I'll drop it down like that, and then I'm going to lock it and make sure that I don't accidentally go back to that layer and paint anything on there, because it happens all the time. I'm not paying attention carefully enough. Okay, go back to my brush tool and go right around the center and just hit that one time. And I think this will read well. I hope so. We'll see What happens? I believe these are about the middle. And it's, again, not perfect. It's okay. I'm just going through the process here. When we do the whole model kit, we make a whole hive of beholders. We will go in and paint the eyes carefully and make sure that they look awesome. Okay, we have this eye to paint here too as well. So it's got like a dragon's eye, cat's eye in there. Again, I can't remember which one had which UV island, so I'm going to go in here to this eye. I'm going to click there and go to faces and double click, and it's which one? If I take away that and we go to X-ray mode, is that the back or the front? That is the back, the smaller one. Good. And then the other one and the bigger one, the front here, that one is the larger one is the front of the eye. So we won't even see the back of the eye. I just kind of did it quickly. So let me click off of that, go back to object mode and out of the ghost, back over to Photoshop, and we'll do the same thing there. I think it has some white and some veins in there. It's going to be pretty grody. So I'm going to go to my circular marquee tool. As I drag, it's ellipse. If I hit shift, it's going to become circular, and then I can hold shift and spacebar, and I can kind of bring it around, let go of shift, and it becomes oblong again. There we go. And it's really close to that eye stalk. Let me zoom in. Yeah, I would have preferred that not be quite that close. There we go. And there you go. Okay, and then again, you can hold down I, can eye drop right off of there, and we go to the that's small eyes. Control Shift N, go big eye, and we'll drop that color in there. There we go. Yeah, like I said, kind of gross. And I think going down here, we'll do the same. So again, go to the M or Shift M to do the ellipse. Get to the space where I want using space. There we go. It usually starts at the top left corner. That's your anchor. And there we go. Alt Delete fills with the foreground color. Control D, deselect. And now if I go in here and hit Control Tap, it's going to just select those so I can go in there and paint on them. The size of the eyeball, I'm not 100% sure. So I think I'll do a quick one first. We'll drop it in, and then we'll go back and we'll touch it up, maybe even in Sculpt GL or some actual 3D or digital painting program. So we go Alt 5, we could see here. There's the little wireframe there. So it goes up to about there. And I did bring the eyelid up so he's got a little bit more of a like surprise or anger or rage expression with the scowl. So yeah, it's a little anger. A little scarier, right? Um, and I brought the brow out and down, and it got a little messed up, but it's a quick prototype. So now we know what that size is. So I can go back over here and I can look at this size right here. I could do the black here, Control D, and we'll do big eye, iris, and pupil. Okay, and then I can go right up here. You do a nice long piece down right to about there. Go. And we'll fill that in with black. So hit X, we'll go down here and give it a pure black, Alt Delete. And then if I go behind it, I can do the orange, Control Shift N. Iris, I guess this one will be the iris. Control D, go back to Shift, we drag around, and since it's not perfectly round, you can see it got skewed when I was working on it. I'll have to kind of eyeball this. Ha ha ha! Yes, I am punny today. That should be good right about there. There we go. Yep, looks good to me. Hit that orangish color again, which was in the does match. He did match it, so sounds good to me. Go down here and down there, and go behind it and Alt Delete, fill with that color. There we go. And it is on a different layer, so I can always, if we need to wiggle it around, we can. And if we want to give it like a little border and some colors, we can. But I think for now, we just want to get this first color pass filled in done and see what it looks like. And then we'll go in and paint a little bit of detail. All right. All right, so let's get the rest of this going. So the other color I had was color fill copy. Let's see where. Oh, I have my brush over just barely over. There we go. So we bring that down. Yeah, I'm not really too excited about have this paint job. I think I'm just gonna I think I just delete it. I think maybe we'll color pick some of those colors. So I'm gonna go B and we'll color pick that yellow and then X to switch foreground, background color, and then Alt and then get the deeper tone. Let me try that again. X, highlight, whoops, turn off. That's muddying it up. Alt B, highlight that. There we go. And maybe even if you get off there, there we go. It's even brighter. Yeah, good, good. Okay, so I'll leave it there though. And we'll go back over here. And I can always kind of flip back and forth where it was and where we are. Right, so definitely the teeth are in a different spot than they were before. So this is the color fill copy, and we'll go, that's paint pass one. We'll call this lower, let's see, mouth and belly. Whoops. Just out of habit, I never use special characters, just underscore. Just scripting, you never know what's going to mess stuff up. Okay, good enough. Grab my airbrush this time and hit B and go right around the side here with the darker color. So X on the keyboard switches foreground, background, and we'll start off with a nice dark color and see how that's looking at. Very airbrushy, which is okay for now. I think we're going to lightly do this whole thing. And there we go. I can see with the scales where it kind of blends and fades into the scale. So let me zoom back here. And a nice big brush. And maybe let's save what we're doing, shall we? I think that's a great idea. Um, and even if I'm trying to go really fast here for you guys, it's easy to forget to save early on, and then you get an hour or two and you've forgotten Xanathar color. See, we have Beholder Xanathar color, that one. We'll say underscore B01. There we go. It's just to have different versions and it's going to start getting messy. I struggle with naming conventions, really admit. There we go. All right. And then once we get the teeth and the gums blocked in there, I think we'll have a much easier time of this. So I'm going to get right around the sides, underneath the chin. The belly's quite yellow. He's a yellow belly. Those beholders, they don't want to fight. They just want to rule, devour, and consume. Wahaha. There we go. The belly goes back around the side. So I think right about there. Again, it's underneath the layer of the eyes, and the eyes are on their own layer, so I don't have to worry too much about that. My flow is at 50%. My opacity is at 100, so hopefully everything's going. I want to paint out the seam, so I want to make sure that bottom has the same color regardless right here. And you'll see we'll do the PBR thing later. There we go. That should be, oops, that should be all right. Go back in, check where the gum line is. And if I wanted to, I could just turn that off. And we could have like a white background. Let's try that. Control Shift N. And we'll do we're going to fill this with which color? Fill it with pure white so we could really see what's going on there. And then maybe we'll unlock that and lower the opacity down even more. And then lock it back up again. So yeah, that way I can really kind of, whoa. get a sense for what, turn that off, color sample that brown again. There we go. How opaque it is, if we've like covered the color or completely or not. It's kind of what we're looking for. Some of these, there we go. And all right, I promised myself I would not dilly-dally. So, not a word I ever normally use. Don't know where that came from. There we go. So go around the side here, up on the top. Cool. And it's all looking okay. Hit X on the keyboard, and now we can see where all of these details are. And let's see if we can manage some semblance of where the highlights are um, without being in an actual 3D paint program. I'd love to hop over to Substance Painter right now. Oh yeah, these are the nostrils, right? This got to be dark, dark. I almost forgot about that. But that's a conversation for another day, for sure. It is its own beast to deal with. Substance Painter, folks. Okay, so that's I'm just gonna go in all the grooves, and then I'll switch over to the yellow. I mean the blue. We'll switch over the blues here. So this is the part where maybe I'd speed it up for you, but we're just doing everything real time, so bear with me. There we go. We're going to the blues now. So I think we had the color fill here of that color, and then where's this one? Do B, and I think a little bit of maybe like that color. All right, there we go. And turn that off again. And I can kind of see the bigger scales a bit easier than I could some of the other ones. So we'll do another one. Big scale highlights. Big scale highlights. Oops. Yeah, so like that today. Okay, and let's see how fast I can do this. And I wonder if you guys can see. I can see all right. Not the greatest. And I'll try and bleed over on these. I don't know, I'm pretty confident it's gonna look good. Just for a quick base coat, we'll do some grunge masks and some dirt and grime on there for sure. I think adding the color should look pretty awesome. I'll leave that. Um, but yeah, Sculpt GL it uses I believe vertex painting. I'll have to double check them if that's right or not. But yeah, using vertex painting is a challenge in a quick pipeline like this. ZBrush is kind of the same way, but we'll talk about that in more detail when we do the detailed model kit texture panel. And there we go. All right, come over down to the middle, keep on going, and then we go to the tops of these. I think right along here, around the top like that for each of these. Oh, that's the belly. Whoops, my bad. See, that's going to be the eye stalk, so this is going to be the tops for these, and that's the base. That's the eye socket there. So that's the top there. And I guess we'll find out. So, and if this is the top, We will know right away. Let's yeah, let me just do a couple and then we'll put the texture map on there and we'll see. These ones though, I gotta run with. I'm pretty sure we're in a good spot with these. Yeah, just light, boom, 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 touch. Oops, don't want that one. That's the fleshy purple one. And as it gets down here, we'll fade into the yellow and we'll maybe play with some desaturation mask. But see how fast this goes. Like I'm just hitting, just like if I were touching with an airbrush on a real sculpture or if I was dry brushing, I would just very lightly kiss the surface of the highlighted, the part with the most rise on the surface, and then there we go. That one was that big? I don't remember. Find out. And hopefully the tongue and stuff, the islands are on the layers are all set up right on the top, so we're not too worried about that. We might do little darker cavities around where the stalks come out from the head. So there we go. So that's cool. It's looking all right. Probably go in here and lighten and desaturate this just a little bit along this section here and then maybe across the top of the crown. Maybe not lighten. Let's try that again. Um, let's keep it saturated, but let's make it lighter along here. Let's see. Am I making too much of a difference? I can't really tell. Yeah, okay. But this is where you want to like beat it up a bit. Go to the top here. We'll definitely highlight the tops. I'm gonna paint in some of that lighting, even though they say not to. It'll look weird. I am not convinced that is true. Desaturated, a little brighter. There we go. And then I'm right here on the top of the eye. We didn't hit the eye, top of the eye at all. Shoot. Um, and it's a bit hard to see, but that's what we're getting here with the eyebrow. There's the eyelid. There we go. Paint there. Maybe we'll do like we could do marmoset tool bag and some other ones too. There we go. So some color variety. I should also note some purples in there, so I'm going to push this. Whenever I'm doing this, you want to change your hue also ever so slightly to get if it's any kind of natural beast, creature, nature, stone, rock, fur, trees, plants. Very rare are things true single solid colors. It just looks freaking weird in to see that, and that's one of the biggest. It's probably the biggest mistake beginning painters make is they really do not vary their colors much. They just go with one solid color and boom, it's like that's red. And I remember my first Gen Con SoCal, that was actually the last SoCal Gen Con before it got taken over by the World of Warcraft people. But I had my first art booth there and I was just getting started. And so Amy Lee asked a really nice artist, like, hey, can you look at my stuff and tell me what was wrong with my mermaid? I want to make the pretty mermaid painting, Giclée painting. And she's like, yeah, just really pink. I had no bounce light, I had no bounce color. I had no color variety. It was just like, I'm using this color, she's this color. And then I did a variety of like dark to light with that color. And that's just, yeah, did not, did not look good at all. Okay, there we go. So hopefully this works out. I'm not sure. Any more there, get some more there. There we go. But already I think that's That's helping. Maybe go touch a little more out here. And if I find any of this with the stalks on there, then we'll go back and I'll do the upper part. Cool. All right. Good enough for now. We'll do some fleshy regions. So let's get these big, easy ones out of the way. We'll do that one first and zoom in, and then maybe do X, and then do like a darker mauve purple. Right. And this is the big scale highlights right there. All right. Mouth and belly. Mouth and belly. Okay. We'll do one more up top then here. And top of the scales, Control Shift N, and we'll go eyelids and gums. And I could maybe do that the same as tongue, but I do want, again, I want color right. I want everything to be the exact same color. It looks bad. Just does. Just trust me. Looks terrible. Terrible, I tell you. Here we go. So go in there and go on doing our quick darkening around the rim here. And I know the teeth are gonna not look very good, but we'll do a quick darkening around the teeth as well. Let me just make this dark, and then we'll do like a white on the teeth at the end. There we go. Yeah, the good one will have the teeth, of course, as a different UV. They'll each have their own UV shell in the detailed model, just like the separate eyeballs and the separate eye stalks will have their own texture paint. There we go. And then I could even go one step further. So we'll go in here and we'll go, all right, let's make it even darker and more saturated and slightly more purple. Right? There we go. It's the back inside of the mouth, the very back of the eye socket. Okay, hit X on the keyboard, go back to the lighter color. And my pressure sensitivity turned on. So we'll go in and we'll see if we can hit some of these areas here with a little bit of brighter color. That. Go to the gums here, and I don't know if we're gonna get that. Let's see what the other one looked like. Yeah, it looks like a hit. Oh well, I really got that dark purple line in there, didn't I? Huh. Let's see that again. All right. Don't know if any of that's gonna happen, so I'll just go to the top, the gum line for now. And we have a high poly model in there. When we dropped some serious polygons on Unreal with this character, which something, for a 3D print, it's great, right? And now we're doing this quick look test in Unreal, and so is it going to? It's handling it fine so far. We're at whatever 300,000 triangles, but our game ready poly, I think we want to keep it around like 50,000 or so, something like that. All right, let's leave that for now. Oh, these little things I've been waiting to fill in, right? Let's see, let me go X on the keyboard and let's get the little grooves in there first. And yeah, no normal maps, no bump maps or anything like that. So we're gonna be pretty good. There we go. And go around the other one, do a little dark rim around the edge like we got here. And then X on the keyboard, switch foreground and background, and then put in that lighter, fleshy, rah color. There we go. Okay, so we could go to the color fill layer now, and we want to, I think now's a good time to go in here and again, maybe change the hue just a tiny bit. maybe go to this desat and go darker. Maybe about there. There we go. And I'll turn that off for a moment and go to my brush. Let's see, big scale highlights. There we go. Underneath that we'll go big scale shadow. And one time, make a nice big brush. So if I just press lightly, gently, it's going to at least. And I just want to trace around all this cool sculptural detail because it is going to be darker color. Whoops, make sure I'm on the right layer. Double and triple check your layers. And this is where when we do ZBrush, we'll do cavity masks and we'll go into substance and we'll like save these islands and maybe save out some patterns and things like that. I'm sure I'm missing a couple on accident here. Let's see. There it goes. I can't remember if that's a line or not. And then we'll go underneath here, and we'll turn that back on with the this color here, and you can see that it looks pretty good. And we'll turn the wireframe off in a moment. Could do a quick Gaussian blur is another kind of old school-ish trick we like to use. Go. Da-da. And it's becoming, a super quick look test to maybe, spending how long we've been going here. 41 minutes? Okay. Yeah, you know, pretty fast still, considering we have pretty good detail going on here. And putting that in little rivulets there. I'm not sure yet. Sure around the eye sockets and the what you call it, the tendons and here, kind of like almost like an inset eye, which I think is really cool. But I'm sure I wanted some of those tendons to be lighter and others areas to be darker, right? Like right there. So let's put that in now. It's behind, it's on a layer behind all that stuff. So I think it's good to have your darker layers below your highlight layers, right? I mean, that's pretty no-brainer, I think. We could go even darker in the nostrils. I'm really letting my hands dance around here. I'm not being too precise. I'm being loose with it. There we go. And I'm almost done. Real time, folks. It's not sped up, I swear. Yeah, muscle memory, learning to draw and paint. Digital artists unite. AI is here. It's just better digital tools, but it does replace a lot of the muscle memory movements, and pushing dials and buttons will, in my opinion, hurt you in the long run. So don't totally abandon your muscle memory art forms, in my opinion, at least. All right, cool. That looks okay. We got that on. We'll go down the bottom here, and we're going to go back to the belly. Where's my belly? There's the mouth and belly right there. Yeah, looks pretty cool. And let's see if we drop the opacity. And it's getting dirtier. Okay, maybe we'll leave that for now, and we'll do another mouth belly shadow. And let's try this color, but a little yellower and a little maybe grayer, darker. try that. Okay, we'll go in and zoom in for a moment. There's just a few wrinkles that I added of my own here. So I think not painting across the seam unless I have to helps. Yeah, I just did right there. Oh well. And definitely in the model, there's these lines here, like underneath the jaw and the chin, underneath here. It's gonna go. So we'll see um, how those turn out. I can kind of see some shapes there. My UV layout. So maybe go along maybe there. Maybe like a bigger one, lower opacity. I'll drop down to like 30%. Just do it kind of under jaw. There we go. Right, it should be darker underneath this whole area, right? So let's get a nice big brush and let's just do what we know needs to be done here with the underbelly. Knowing my eyes are on a layer above it, I can't hurt them. X on the keyboard. Whoa, let's go grab this one. And let's go yellow, way lighter, less saturated. And smaller brush, and we'll do a highlight. Mouth, belly, highlight. There we go. And yeah, in general, I think that will work. I'm on, again, I'm at 30% opacity, which I try and get some of this blend going here a bit as well. It is below the mouth there, so I don't know how much that's going to show through there. Looks like it did a little bit. Let's see, where's the scale? So I'll go mouth, belly. I'll put it above everything except for the eyelids and gums. There we go. Yeah, so that kind of gets that blend going a little bit more. And if I want this to, if I want the blending to work on this, I could very easily go soft light, or we could even overlay it. But I think I'll just leave it like that for now. Yeah. Okay, we're just about done for now. It's just to get it the color palette we want. Let's go back over here and yeah, let's do a little more through there. And let's do the teeth maybe. This will be the hardest part because it's just a mess in there where the teeth are. Oh my gosh, yeah. Do it at the very top here. Just don't go teeth. And with this high resolution on a flat UV map, you know, good freaking good luck. Let's go take a look at it over here where it is. So UV editor. And yeah, I can see pretty good in here where those round areas are. But over here, really hard to see. Let me grab all of this that I have here for now and group that. And we'll call this a body and see if we can hide that. There we go. I can see a little bit now. The teeth, and go to blue, brush, default, white. We'll go some sort of off whitish, ever so slightly colored. And very quickly, without much fanfare. Oh, maybe go 60%. There we go. Again, quick test. If each tooth was individual, this is pretty cush, piece of cake-ish. For a look test, it's going to be all messy, like pixels up in the gum. And the UVs didn't, the teeth didn't get proper amount of UV space, yada, 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 yada. But I'm thinking they shouldn't be pearly white, right? Hop back over, show that in Maya again. Yeah, there's one there. Yeah, I could just maybe leave this to my side screen over here where I'm looking at. And that'll, yeah, that helps a little bit. Remember where stuff is. And the gummy area right in here, over there. Turn all that back on again. That's something. We'll go up to the tongue here, and let's just hit a top color with that. Something fleshy, more purpley, lighter. And go airbrush light and 30%. And voila. There we go. X on the keyboard. Take that color and we'll go even darker and redder with it, purpler. See, that's the side of the tongue. Yeah, let's control tap that, make sure we stay in bounds, so to speak. And then X on the keyboard, go back up. Maybe do another fleshier pink tone just to mix it up a bit. There we go. And then we can turn that off. Yeah, it goes. See that? And you zoom in to the tip of the tongue and avoid the seam down here if I can, and then just kind of go right to the tip right there. Let's see if that pops. Oops, when we we'll see how that pops when we test it up. Control D, turn off the, yeah, pretty gross. Yeah, no blender needed. Won't even start doing that for the color lighting quick test. I think we didn't hit the top of the tentacles yet as well, so we're gonna go to the small eye stalks, or is it all in the color? Oh, I'm forgetting. Put it all in the highlight. Okay, good. Go in there. Maybe go a little powdery bluer, something like that, and go around below the eye, so I don't have to worry about the eye. All of them. What am I at? 60, 30%. Okay, that's too low. Let's go back up to like 60. Above or below the tongue. Cool. And there's 10 of them. I remember. And then the seam is on the back where this light is. So if you want like a darker color under the stalks, we're gonna go in here and do a darker color. Go. And then maybe drop it back down like 20% opacity. You want to be careful. This part. And just hit one. Oops, that's on the dark scale, right? Big scale shadow. Underneath and inside the eye stalk. There we go. Inside the eye stalk, I'll probably go to the eyelids last thing here, and then I'll think I'm going to try and stop. I might go to the eyelids for the eye stalks and as well as the the big eye, I should say. Want to make sure that there's a good highlight with the eye and the upper lip maybe to pop a little bit. The eye's really bad, but take me a few minutes to paint the eye, and I want to move on for you guys so you can see where it's at currently. That's what look test is all about, look development here. Playing with the look of it. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yes. Sold. All right. Let's see how it goes. Are we under an hour? We're under an hour, 56 minutes. All right, let's try this out. Control S. Control Shift S, and we'll goofy Photoshop. I gotta change the default, save as a copy instead of just saving to the file type that I want. There we go. Color B, and save. Alrighty, boom, and then we'll go back into Unreal Engine. There we go. F11, we'll go out of full screen mode. G, go back out game mode. There's our dude. Find him in the folder. There it is. And no colors yet, just materials, solid colors. We'll go in and you're gonna import it. And bring this over. And you can see now the difference between our quick paint for the UV high res and the original super quick one, low poly. So I'll just drag it in there. And importing, boom. Should be good to go. We can go to the different texture maps here. We can go to each of the, I think we got 4 of them. Let's see. So we'll go to the main eye first, and we'll just drag this in and make this the main eye color. And you can see what that does here for the blowout on the emissive color. So we'll hit save, see if it does anything at all. And there we can just barely see his eye there. So maybe we don't want it to be quite so red. We can take this one here and make that the emissive color. We can always play around with that, of course, and then save. You'll see now it's going to glow just a little bit. And yeah, not happy at all with that eye. We'll go back and paint that eye. It's all good for now. All right, cool. Next one, small eyes to glow. All right, grab the color again. And we'll plug in the RGB to the base color. And we'll hit save. The big difference is going to be on the, yeah, it's really yellow. Wow. Double click that. And we can get it more on the orange, gold side of things. Cool. And I'll leave that one for now. I just wanted to see at least the iris on there and see if we paint it, how that's going to play around. Body and stocks. This will be the one where we see a huge difference. It's got the metallic, specular, and roughness. So we'll drag this one in there. And that is our new color. And here we go. Here's the moment of truth. Nothing. Oh, maybe the main body and stocks. Okay, maybe that's not the right one. We will. Just so you can see the tongue. Double click. drag it in. And I'm following ambient color, diffuse color, specular color. I wonder if I have to play around with these more than I imagine because this is a bit different than last time I used it. Let's try one of our, we have a few of them in here, right? Yeah, okay. Xanathar for Unreal UV Mesh 2. Let's grab this one. Blah. All right, and then we'll go back up to our materials that we just made. Go here, there we go. And we'll go iMain. Wait, does this guy have all the slots? He only have two. He only has two slots. All right, we want this one. Make a copy. I'll keep the other ones for shits and giggles. Duplicate. That's our 3. There we go. Ah, the 3's got it. All right, there we go. That's better. Body, C bottom. I think that's the body. We'll go body main stocks. We'll use that one. And there he is, a little softy airbrush. So yeah, it's got that kind of, what you call it, Henson color palette so far. And no hard seams too much on the stocks. A little bit. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we can paint that eye for sure. It's kind of tilted funny. Tongue. Let's use this one. Let's use that one. There we go. And the teeth turned out okay. That's good. They kind of got a funky color to them, but you know, take it. And then the main eye for this one, eye soft glow material. I think that is all then. It's just the 4 slots. Excellent. Yes, that's right. Okay, so we save him, bring him out. We have the other ones in here in the, I could call this drooling, the treasure cut, whatever you want to call this one, I don't know. But let's get, shrink these ones. See, I should go back and turn back on my snaps. Always leave your snaps on in Unreal, folks. Make your life easier. Yeah, there we go. And I think having the world local, something like that one, go back. Selected snap, then local. That one will go back to world. Huh. Oh well. Oops. Do that. Okay, let's drag our new Xanathar that's actually painted like Xanathar into the scene and let's see how it looks. Da-da-da, da-da-da. That's the actual human size. Oh, the eye glow's working. All right, cool. And bring him down and give him some more lighting and make him bigger. Oops. Make sure you scale on all 3 axes. Bring him back there. And voila. Doesn't look too much better than the first painted one, I'll be honest. Mostly because of the eye and the where we're at with the painting of everything. But yeah, and that haze is a little heavy. There's no normal maps on them, so we definitely got to go in there and play around with that. But I think for now, Xanathar lives. Let's he gets the first lick of the treasure. Let's put the angle over here and wheel this back around. And then move these ones over here since I played around with the light shafts positioning. And then we can go back into, let's see, go out of that. Yeah, that'll work. Cool. There he is. And hit F11 on the keyboard, and voila. There he is, ready to terrorize. So I'll probably come back and do some grunge masking, paint the eye a little bit more, and see if that helps him fit in here with his kindred, with his kin. This one with the swamp water textures material is pretty cool. That one too. All right, there we are. I'll see you in the next video. Hope you're enjoying. Hope everyone's getting a chance to make a beholder for the series. All right, we'll see you. We'll see you soon.